What was your read on the press conference?
It's like he swallowed a self-help manual. It's a whole lot of gobbledygook. It means nothing. Just get the right guy. They've got the right guy. The fact is, Justin Holbrook will be the coach. The reason they're not announcing it is because St Helens are trying to come up with a plan to announce that he's leaving the club. And out of respect to St Helens, that's when they'll announce it, after St Helens do. So he's got the job. Other coaches who did not even get interviewed, so this exhaustive process they've been through is just complete furphy, because all the other good names that got thrown up didn't even get the courtesy of an interview. Well, so figure it out.
I want to try and unpack that a little more, because Steve Mitchell's the third voice I've heard on this. I mean, Dennis Watt was the first person, the executive chairman, to front the press conference after Garth was sacked.
Who was on the subcommittee.
Yeah, I've heard Mel Meninga.
Also on the subcommittee. Basically
through the Courier Mail and his work here with Fox League, have his opinion on what's going on. And then Steve Mitchell today, and it's been, we'll shortlist, we'll go through an interview process to arrive at ultimately a successful candidate, and it would seem that that's
all management speak crap. Seriously. Gold Coast have got to figure out what sort of club they are, and instead of being the nice guys who always run 14th and 15th to make everybody else feel better, get out there, get a hard edge to your club and start winning some games. And stop being so courteous and professional and get a bit of a winning edge to yourself.
So tell me again, who ran the
process? Mel ran it.
Okay.
Mel ran it, OK? Also on the subcommittee with Dennis Watt and Anthony LaFranchi, who was the general manager of football, whatever he's there. They did it, but essentially they sat down, they got on Holbrook nice and early, and they went after him, which is fine. If you identify your man and you go out and you get him, that's fine. Just don't try and bullshit with all the, we're going to go through an exhaustive process and we've got this guy and that guy. Nobody got a phone call. Nobody else got a phone call. I spoke to several coaches who were mentioned today, didn't get the courtesy of a phone call.
So the process was one of making phone calls to people around the candidates,
around the candidates. So they rang a few people around the club who Mal's... Look, they've all got contacts. Mal rang, what do you think of Anthony Griffin? What do you think of Trent Barrett? What do you think of Craig Fitzgibbon? They've settled on Holbrook. Holbrook is the only coach who actually got the courtesy of a phone call.
It's time for you to weigh in here. What are you thinking about how it's been run so far?
Well, just listening to that then, I agree with everything Paul says. Like, seriously, the only thing the Gold Coast right now has got going for it is it's got an NRL job for one of those coaches. Yeah. It's going to be Holbrook. I really don't mind the decision from Mal to make a choice, and obviously he's picked Holbrook. That doesn't bother me, but he'll want to make sure he's got it right, because they can't afford another failure. This is the same thing that they did with Garth Brennan.
They've already said
they interviewed people and then Garth wasn't interviewed. Garth got the job. It all went pear-shaped. So they want to make sure they get it right this time.
Apparently Garth missed the first round of interviews but got interviewed after that. But the point is, to your point, if you've identified your man, you've gone after him, that's fine. That's what Penrith did when they went out and signed Cleary. They did it with Griffin before that. Manly did it with Des Hasler. The good clubs do that. They know what they're doing. They know what they need. They go get it. But don't try and spin it that you're going through some major process where everybody's... and they're going to do all their due diligence on everybody and get them in and see who comes out on top. It just didn't happen.
I just wonder if they had a change of heart or a change of plans midway through, because, as you know, and I've stated here on the show before, I've sort of thrown my support behind Ben and Shane Walker. I would have loved to see them get a gig.
Who didn't get an interview?
They were told they were going to get an interview.
Didn't get one.
And given some timelines, those timelines weren't met, and then the last phone call they got without getting an interview was, you're no longer required.
Yeah.
You know, that's...
And it's a lot... Look, Dennis Watt is on record saying this is the last stand for the Gold Coast Titans. Justin Holbrook, everything I have heard about him as a coach is positive. But out of that, that's a lot of pressure. The future survival of the club to put on a bloke who hasn't coached NRL.